still they'd have to be aware of what the song was. I mean, they're always changing the methodology. Like the reason why I say it's because later on when I did find out, and there was a certain year where you had to submit the song yourself and show where it was used in the film, and then they screened all those things. So I mean, then so they're always changing the rules, and I don't even know. But
hey man, look,
right?
it's,
No, but
it's one of those
anyway,
things, right?
it was
Chalk
a
it up
big
to learning.
it was a big thrill then at the time, and then from that is how I got some of the other bigger songs that I got, because I was then hanging around the Good Machine office, uh, and I was talking to one of the guys who worked as a producer there, and I was like, "Hey, well, you guys doing anything else? You need any music?" And by then, I guess I had done a second album, which was called "Get Ready for Aton," and they said, "Well, yeah, well, we're working on this film, The Tale of Steve. If you want to give me some of your music, I'll get it to the director." And I had the second album, and they gave it to her, and she and her editor started, putting songs here and there into the
Oh, that's cool.
movie.
Sort of spec.
The weird thing is too, she had gone to NYU a couple years behind me, so she knew who I was. I didn't remember,
Oh wow,
who
cool.
she was, but then a while later, they go like, "Well, we really like your music, so could you come down and look at the movie? And we need a song for the tail credits."
Oh wow.
So I go there, and they put me in a room to watch the movie with another guy who I think was the guy who wrote the score to that other movie I was talking about, Desert Blue,
Oh
because
wow.
that was another one of their movies they had.
You're watching QPTV Daily Social Live. QPTV.org's live daily show. I'm your host for today, James. Let's get started. We have a quick COVID-19 update for today. Next week, we will have a lot to cover, as there's been a tremendous amount of developments recently, and we want to bring you all those updates. In the meantime, please go to COVID-19 update on qptv.org/coronavirus. Daylight savings begins this weekend, which means you have to spring ahead, which means at Sunday, 2 a.m., if you stay up at night, Saturday night for you. You're going to turn your clocks to 3 o'clock at 2 a.m. And that's how it goes. Spring forward, fall back. That's how it is. But that's this weekend. And of course, it's always recommended that when you are changing your clocks, you check and change the batteries on all your fire alarms, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors. Make sure that everything is in working order. Seasons change and things can go by pretty quickly. You want to make sure that you stay on top of everything. But today, it's an incredibly beautiful day. Sunny and warm. Spring is upon us. Let's see if we could hold on to it a little longer. This is Daily Social Live from QPTV.
QPTV Radio is on the air, providing community-centered programming from Queens Public Television in New York City. QPTV Radio offers an interesting and eclectic mix of unique content, from QPTV's original podcasts to audio versions of our award-winning television programs. Listen to QPTV Radio at qptv.org or download the Live 365 app on your mobile device, and you can listen to QPTV Radio on the go.
And as we mentioned before on this show earlier this week, Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz hosted a scam awareness and fraud protection webinar with incredibly useful information. You can watch it now on qptv.org. Let's bring that up for you. If you watch on qptv.org, it's right there on the homepage. You can check out the whole video. But we'll give you a little preview now, just to build a little enticement. Let's see if we could bring it up. Maybe skip ahead. Oh, that shouldn't be there. Bring up the volume, and let's skip ahead. Let's see if we could find
masks were being repackaged in a dusty warehouse in Long Island City without any regard for safety or sterilization protocols, putting countless lives at risk. These investigations and the many others that are ongoing are as much a testament to this Bureau's expertise as they are a warning about the proliferation of scam and fraud-related activity in the borough of Queens County. You'll be hearing some statistics later on in the program, but I'm here to emphasize that this office has a zero tolerance policy when it comes to scammers and fraudsters who prey on consumers and evade legal tax obligations, and they do it all to line their own pockets. Prosecutors in my fraud bureaus are especially trained to aid residents of Queens County who are victims of embezzlement, organized theft schemes, pattern commercial burglaries, confidence schemes, trademark counterfeiting, financial and investment scams, and that's just to name a few. This bureau also investigates and prosecutes cases that involve cybercrimes, including online predatory behavior, and that's against children and adults through the Computer Crime Unit. And under the leadership of ADA Christine Burke, the Elder Fraud Unit has been instrumental in helping our senior citizens who have fallen prey to identity theft, theft of property, or theft of their hard-earned money. So whether you're dealing with a complicated financial scheme or you're experiencing inappropriate online behavior, or if you think that someone has gained your trust for the purpose of exploitation, we are here to help. And we're not the only ones. Tonight, in addition to the legal experts from my office, you will hear from a number of tax advocates and consumer fraud experts, and you'll learn about how to avoid scams, how to take advantage of free resources, how to report crimes, everything that has taken place or anything that you need help with. I'd like to acknowledge and thank Ms. Brenda Stewart-Luke and Mr. Darrell Tucker from the Internal Revenue Service, who are here to help us through these presentations. I'd like to thank Ms. Cindy Katz No relationship, no relation. Ms. Cindy Katz from the Queen's Legal Services, but we appreciate all the work that she is doing. Ms. Yan Ki Ang Choi and Ms. Tara Krieger from the City Taxpayer Advocate Office, Ms. Nikki Chang from the City Department of Aging, and Ms. Margaret Neri from the State Office of the Taxpayer Rights Advocate. Thank you for being here and thank you for all of your service. Today's panel will provide a lot of useful information on the many resources available to you and to your loved ones. And so I'll allow everyone to get started. I think this is an important forum. And just to end my part of this today, our office has investigated a lot of financial crimes and a lot of abuse towards people to take their money in very difficult times and under very difficult circumstances. And in a time like COVID, where people aren't out in the street and where communication is sometimes limited, the guys in my office, the guys and the women in my office, men and women in my office are extremely adapted at getting people's money back, in making sure that they stand up for people who need standing up for. And if someone is stealing from you or someone is taking advantage of you, these are the people you want on your side. So I thank them for the work that they have been doing. Chief Connolly?
Thank you, District Attorney Katz. Now,
So it's a very extensive, they have video demonstrations of what these scams look like and sound like, and various experts just giving you the ins and outs of these scams, these situations that some people find themselves in and innocently are thrown into a world of turmoil because they got hit with something that seemed pretty routine, but in essence was a major scam. And I highly recommend you watch this program on qptv.org as soon as possible, really, especially with stimulus checks being issued. There's going to be a lot of scammers out there looking to get that money. So don't waste another moment. Watch this program. Go to qptv.org right now. Check it out. Of course, you can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can watch our show live on any of those channels. And then, if you just want to communicate with us, share pictures or stories, or just stay up to date, you can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. And then you could email us directly, media@qptv.org. If you have any questions, comments, don't hesitate. Write it up in a letter. We'll take a look. We'll help you out as best as we can. And then, of course, don't forget, you're watching us on the web. But if it weren't for the channels, we wouldn't be here. Go to QPTV's channels on Spectrum, RCN, and Verizon Fios. You have the lineup up there. You can go to qptv.org/guide at any time to see what's on. This is QPTV Daily Social Live. Once again, QPTV is bringing you this special episode, Queen's Perspective Spotlight, Violence Against Asian Americans, an interview with Senator John Liu and Councilman Peter Koo, conducted by QPTV's own host, Rosalind Nieves. It's an incredibly interesting conversation. Let's see if we can actually get a preview for you here today.
Only on Queens Public Television.
Hello, I'm Rosalind Nieves. Welcome to Queen's Perspectives. Violence against Asian Americans began with the political rhetoric of the pandemic and kept spiking with 3,000 incidents across the nation. The New York Times reports that hate crimes involving Asian American victims soared in New York City last year. Officials are grappling with the problem even as new incidents occur. Here with me is Senator John Liu. He is serving the 11th Senate District, representing a broad area of Northeast Queens. John, thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you, Rosalind, and thanks to QPTV for always putting this kind of programming on that really inform the residents of Queens on the latest issues. And I wish we didn't have to have this discussion, honestly, but it's important.
I agree, and we worked together for so many years. I'm just grateful that you had it in your time to do this today. So let's talk about the hatefulness that's been going on in New York City. The surveillance videos of Maggie Chen's mom being shoved to the ground in Flushing, to the man being stabbed near Chinatown, to Noel Quintana being slashed on the train with a box cutter. Has your phone been ringing off the hook because of all of the insanity?
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, nowadays it's ringing off the hook, or email boxes being jammed, texts coming in, and also lots of inquiries and complaints and reports by social media. As you mentioned before, Rosalind, hate crimes against Asian Americans are up, according to the NYPD, 1,900% between 2019 and 2020. And as you also mentioned, thousands and thousands of cases all across this country, far more than we have seen before. There is clearly a spike, and it's clear also that there's a strong correlation between that and what we have been suffering through in the coronavirus. Now, COVID-19 hit us a little more than a year ago, and the entire country, indeed the world, has been enduring this global pandemic. But the Asian American community has faced a secondary virus, that of bigotry and hate, and that has been that is largely due to the rhetoric that we have heard around the country, emanating primarily from the then White House, where the former president, despite the pleas and also the concerns voiced not only by community leaders and advocates, by his own health policy professionals, global leaders who are experts in epidemiology and the pandemic.
Oh, you want to check that out. It's a sad situation, obviously, but it's a very informative program. You want to check that out. Now, anytime this weekend, go to qptv.org. It's up there. Let me show you exactly where it's on the page right now, in case this is something you absolutely need to see. And you should. It's right here on the page. And you can go to QPTV Presents anytime to see any of QPTV's original programs. And again, you can watch Queensborough President Donovan Richards' 2021 State of the Borough Address right here on QPTV.org. And this is where Borough President Richards outlined his vision for Queens. And you can see it all right here on QPTV.org. Let's see if we can get a preview. I'm taking a look to see if that's up and ready to go. And if it is, I'll have it for you right now. Otherwise, nope. Look, there he is. I'm on this side this time.
Welcome to the 2021 Queens State of the Borough Address, hosted by Queensborough President Donovan Richards at the incredible Museum of the Moving Image.
It's an amazing museum.
Hey, back again. How you doing? Good to see you. All right. Take care.
At this arts institution housed in a city-owned building, visitors learn about film, video game, and television history. Museum of the Moving Images building is part of the historic Astoria Studios, opened by Paramount Pictures in 1920. It functions today as Kaufman Astoria Studios, right next door. The studio has played a role in the representation of American communities of color on screen, with productions like The Wiz and the groundbreaking children's series Sesame Street. Queens history is reflected in many of the artifacts on
I think a lot of people don't realize how crucial Queens is to the entertainment industry, television, film, music, all around. How important Queens has been throughout history and is right now. Believe me.
the first museum in the world to collect and present video games as an art form. MoMI provides unparalleled access to creative media making for all ages, backgrounds, and neurodiversities. We present over 500 films per year, welcoming 250,000 visitors annually to exhibitions and educational experiences.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. To kick off the program, you're in for a treat. Please join us for a presentation of the colors by the MTA Police Explorers and a performance of the national anthem by the Frank Sinatra School of the Arts.
I'll just have a little bit of this.
Detail, attend,
You have to watch it on the
forward,
website.
march. Ready, halt, detail, right, pace. Detail, present colors.
So
Detail,
you're going to want to
present
check this out on the
box.
website. It's up there right now. QPTV.org.
Order. Halt.
Let's see what we got here. What do we have coming up? We have technical issues. Okay. Let's we'll be right back. We're on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Send us an email. And pick up the remote control. Turn on your TV, your cable. Look for us on Spectrum, RCN, and Verizon Files. Go to qptv.org/guide to find out what's on now. Let's go behind the scenes a second here. Right here I am on camera, and there is a scene. We're gonna figure this out right now. Let's see. I was looked at. And then we came to the newsletter, but it was muted. And what should happen is that when I come on to this scene, which is scene 5, it's supposed to unmute my microphone, and it's not doing that. So I got to make a note. It's live streaming for you folks. Fix muting on scene 5. Right. Let's continue. That was scene 5. This is scene 6. Queen's Conversations. Queens, then and now. Watch this program, right now on QPTV.org. I've been talking about it for almost 2 weeks now because I love this stuff. I love this historical stuff is always interesting to me. But when you get to see pictures and have people describe what you're seeing in those pictures from almost 100 years ago, and being able to track what's happened from then to now and seeing what things look like back then, and you can go down the rabbit hole forever. But anyway, this clip I'm going to bring to you comes from Queen's Conversations, which is a live talk show featuring QPTV's award-winning production and hosting team, Lucia, Noran, and John Collins, having discussions with a diverse spectrum of Queens residents and leaders. Every topic is incredibly relevant, and every discussion is enlightening. And they spoke to a couple of the members, in fact, the leadership of the Queens Historical Society on the last episode of Queen's Conversations. Let's take a look and listen.
The guests, please post them on the Facebook Live, which is facebook.com/Queens Public Television. So let's go to our guests.
Let's put
Branka, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are? And what you do?
Of course. Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. My name is Branka Duknik. I work as the executive director of a place called Queens Historical Society that's located in essentially downtown Flushing. You take the 7 train all the way to the end, Flushing Main Street, and just take a 5-minute walk up to Roosevelt Avenue, and you are in this very unique corner of different historical places. Yeah, we've been, since 1968, we've been in a landmark historic house called Kingsland Homestead, and we've presented various things. And our mission essentially is to document the constant changes in the Queens County and our wonderfully multicultural borough. And we offer programs, whether they are lectures, tours, film screenings. Now, that was in the before times, and the today times during COVID, everything is virtual. So we're accessible for free for all of our audiences in Queens and beyond. And we explore the diversity of the borough through, again, exhibitions and various educational programs.
Great. Jason?
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Lucia. So I'm Jason Antos. I'm the president of the board of directors at Queens Historical Society. I've been studying the history of Queens now for about 20 years. I've, in that time, published about 7 books on the history of specific neighborhoods throughout the borough. And last year in the fall, I had the honor of being named board president of Queens, who I have been dealing with for the majority of those 20 years, researching the amazing history of Queens. And currently, I had the further honor of co-curating a wonderful exhibit on the photographic career of Percy Loomis Spear and Frederick J. Weber, who we'll talk about a little bit later, and how they chronicled the development of Queens well over 100 years ago.
Great. John?
Oh, Jason, I have one thing to tell you. I started watching the video of your exhibition of the photographs, and I had to stop it halfway through because I had to become a member immediately.
So, as you can see, there's a lot of knowledge and expertise in that episode, as pretty much all episodes are. You do not want to miss it. It's not going away anytime soon, but you don't want to get left back on all the shows that we constantly have coming. Stay tuned, watch what you can, but get on it quickly, because by next week there's a whole crop of new programs you gotta watch right here on QPTV. Go to qptv.org/guide to see what's coming up. Ooh. I wanted to load the homepage, but as you can see, throughout the day with events, news, next week on Daily Social Live. Earlier, we're going to have a lot of Corona. play something. We get that set up to do this test. We don't have a lot preloaded right now. Let's see if what we can get going though. I used to have NASA ready to go on here. It's not ready right now, unfortunately. Okay. So what I have to do is just constantly keep an eye on the status here, because there is a little bit of delay with the response that I'm getting back from, let's see. And that's it. Because that's the only other time that it's not being heard is when it doesn't, the hotkey doesn't bring it up. So that's fine. I just have to keep track of it on here. If we have any other promos? Nope. Very cool. Let's play one more just to make sure. All right. Again, with every episode of the show, we will be tinkering around so that we have this thing a little more automated, and we may have even more surprises next week. So you'll want to stay tuned. Yeah, the audio is in my ear is pretty bad, but you'll want to stay tuned for next week's show, or next week's series of shows, because as usual, we are going to bring you everything that's happening on Queens Public Television and anything that you should know about what's happening in Queens. Well, thanks again for tuning in to Daily Social Live from QPTV. We can't do this without you. In fact, we're here for you. We want you to become a part of our in real life social network. Go to qptv.org to find out how to watch, learn, and create with QPTV. Tell your friends about us, share, and subscribe. Stay safe and be well. Enjoy the weather before it gets brisk again. Be safe.